Hello everyone, and welcome to a new project. The background music is kind of loud. I'm hoping to get that fixed in the post-processing. This is Torchlight. I have done an LP of this game before, but in German, and because recently I got the game on Steam and had a lot of fun playing it again, I just thought, hey, might as well record it for a bit, sort of like alternating between this and Path of Exile now. I'm playing as a Vanquisher, which is sort of the Ranger Rogue kind of class. There's also the option of a Destroyer, which is your full-out warrior, and sort of your wizard kind of character, which is the Alchemist. But I'll go with this one. Should be a lot more interesting than the Ranger in Titan Quest. Character names are unimaginative because I couldn't really think of anything cool. So let's go. I will get into why I'm not playing on hardcore mode. I will definitely be choosing very hard though.
The disturbances in Torchlight were more severe than I expected, but I must admit I felt a bit relieved. Petty assignments often signal the end of a Vanquisher's career. I came to restore the flow of Ember, but the darkness below Torchlight ran far deeper than the mines. It would be a test of both my skill and my conviction. Evil must be torn out at its root, and this one had buried itself deeply.
And continue. So here we are in the town of Torchlight. This is effectively a kind of New Game Plus-ish thing, because I've played through the game before, so I get a second dungeon unlocked on all my characters.
Anything you need?
So, these monster attacks are disrupting my work. I am Vasman, a scholar of Ember. I travel to Torchlight to study the vast supply of Ember below, but these creatures make it impossible to obtain the samples I need. Perhaps you have more courage than these miners. If you brave the tunnels and bring me a sample of gleaming Ember, I will reward you well. It should not be difficult. Look for the Ember on the first floor of the mine. And as a result, we get a deadly Chaos Gem. What exactly that means, I'll get into later. The advantage of this being this kind of New Game Plus thing, and let me just move the minimap to up there, I think it's slightly better there, is that I have this side dungeon here, the Shadow Vault. This is kind of like the infinite dungeon in the game. This runs forever. So as deep as I can manage to get, I can get in here. And this is a good place to farm experience when the main dungeon is getting a little too difficult, I guess. And we have two guys handing out quests here. There's no point in trying to read this out because we know what he wants, because like the stuff written in red is basically he wants an item which drops from a certain boss on a certain level. Whatever the rest he's saying, no one knows.
You have begun a new quest.
And here we have another quest giver. It's kind of the same thing, but she just wants me to kill a certain boss. The quests in this Shadow Vault dungeon, because they are randomly generated, they are always of the same type. He wants you to find an item, sometimes have to kill a boss, sometimes it's just lying on the floor. She wants you to kill a boss, and they always tell you which level to go to, basically. And I will probably be showing you some levels of this, but most of the time if I go off to, if I say I'm going off to farm experience or something, it might end up being in there. But now let's actually progress with where we want to go.
Help or stay out of the way.
Brink! Over here! I can't hold them back much longer.
You all right, Syl? Rest here a while. I'm going ahead to finish the job.
Okay, if the voices are a little quiet, I can't change that without making effects too loud. So, yeah, just pause and read if you're having trouble.
It's no wonder Master Ulrich sent for my help. The Ember mines are overrun with these creatures. His letter was urgent, but I had no idea how dire things had become. I am Syl, and that was my companion, Brink. We've only just arrived in Torchlight, and it looks like we're going to need some help. You look capable, and I can pay you well. Please, catch up to Brink before he gets himself killed.
And that's our main quest. However, because we've now basically, that's like the one time monsters attack the city. And because we've done that and destroyed those monsters, we can now basically reload the map. Which, I guess, let's not go to the main, like, you could go to the main menu now and just re-enter with the same character. And that would have the town changed, because some NPCs aren't spawned yet, and you need to reload the map for them to spawn, because now the city is no longer under attack. And I definitely wanted to pick up all the side quests I can get.
I've arrived in Torchlight and begun my exploration of the tunnels below. These mines are vast and aglow with ember. I've never seen so rich a vein. Miners labor to extract it and take no heed of my warnings. I cannot blame them. I, too, could not resist the pull of ember. This ember is the same as that which afflicts me. The taint within it resonates with the corruption in my bones. I can feel it so clearly now. Blight springs from the depths and flows up through the veins. To purge myself of this evil, I must find the source.
Master Ulrich is the guy who basically told Brink and Syl to come to Torchlight to help him, and we're just finding remnants of his journal as we descend into the dungeon. But now we're going quick back out again. There we are. One thing to note, why I have not switched to a hardcore character, it's possible to play through the game on the highest difficulty on a hardcore character without dying easily. Well, not easily, it's challenging, it's not that easy as a game, but the problem is there's one particular type of enemy which spawns in the last section of the quest, which are called Dark Zealots. And they are kind of glitched to the point where they can easily one-hit you unless you have super good equipment. So it ends up being a long stretch of farming to get that equipment, so these guys don't just zap you out all the time. They have a really powerful lightning attack which can hit for 3,000-4,000 damage at a point where you have maybe 2,000 health. This is my shared stash, by the way. In here I can basically transfer items from my other characters, which I won't be using that too much, but from time to time I might. Most of these are for really high levels anyway, so I'm not able to use them. I won't be reading all of this out, but this is Trillbot. Similar to the NPCs before the Shadow Vault, he hands out bounties, so I have to go to a certain dungeon level and kill a certain boss for a reward. And so, since we're here, might as well go through the NPCs. These are the kind of socketing goblins. The first one, this one, allows me to get the gems out of an item, but the item breaks. And this one does the opposite thing, so I can destroy the gems but keep the items. Since I haven't got any socketable items yet, I can't really show that to you. This is your typical
fell off the back of the wagon.
gambling merchant, I have unidentified items, or rather not unidentified, unknown items. It only tells me what type of item it will be and which attributes it requires, but not which amount of them. So I know this has some strength requirement, but I don't know how high that will be. And when I buy it, it shows me what it is, basically. And as it is usual with this sort of game, I could get some of the very best weapons from this guy, but most of the time it will be fairly junky.
See you around.
This is the transmuter.
Hi there.
There are a fair amount of recipes where I can just put in certain items here and transmute, and I get different items out of that. I will show you more of that when it comes to it. The enchanter. Basically, I can put in an item here, any kind of equipment, and for a certain fee, as it says here, 300 gold for this really bad bow. He can enchant this, giving it additional magical properties, but there's also a chance that all magic properties get erased, so that's the disenchant chance. And the more enchantments I put on an item, the higher that chance gets, so it's kind of... you have to gamble a little bit. Like, the stronger you want the item to be, the higher the risk that it suddenly has no properties anymore at all. Which is catastrophic, like an item becomes useless after that, basically. And I'm definitely not going to be doing that to a lowly practice bow. Here we have a gem seller. She's selling scrolls, which I will get to at a later stage, spells, which I don't have the money for, and I will get to them in a later stage, and she sells jewelry as well, and some magic weapons, no armor though. General merchant sells mostly potions of varying strength, your usual mana and health potions, scrolls for identifying and town portals, all the stuff you should know from this genre of game, and nothing else, as you can see. And finally, the blacksmith sells weapons, all kinds of weapons, also magic weapons, so he sells any kind of weapon, and also any kind of armor. But I can't really use any of that yet. So it's now time to head into the mine to clear the first level of the story dungeon. As I said, it might be a little slow progress between... well... it might be slow progress because we are here on the highest difficulty, so mostly that means enemies deal more damage and take more to die, which means progress might be a little slow at times. I might have to go back and buy more healing potions and stuff like that. I think I will make the videos a little longer than usual, maybe to make up for that, but it might be at times that I'm just underleveled and have to go and farm for 2 hours, which I will not show, because that would obviously be fairly tedious. And there's a bit of an issue where sometimes I click to attack, but actually it ends up trying to move me instead. Okay. And as you can tell, on this difficulty I really can't, I can't afford to be careless. Well, I can, because if I die, it doesn't do much, but it's obviously better to avoid dying, and I really should use the shift option. As in many of these games, if you hold down shift while you're attacking, you don't move, so I don't accidentally move towards my enemy instead of attacking when I hold shift. And already I should drink a potion. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Dangerous. Many of these situations are really nothing to worry about on lower difficulties, but on very hard,
Mana is low.
you really have to pay attention to like larger groups of enemies, especially at this point when I have no crowd control options at all. But as a reward, we get a chest. And 2 health potions are definitely worth it. And we also got an unidentified bow. This item here is green, that's like the lowest kind of magic item. Blue are slightly better. And then there's kind of yellow-orange ones, which are uniques, which are the best. And each of the enchanted items can also come in a purple variety. That those are set items, or maybe it's pink, not purple. So this bow would be a lot stronger than ours, but it requires more dexterity than we have. Meaning, let's continue down this way. And because of the higher difficulty, I pretty much need all the experience I can get, so I will most definitely be doing complete exploration again. As you know from Path of Exile and Diablo 3. Okay, here's some Ratlins. These are a little annoying because when you kill one of them, the others start running away. But they are also some of the weakest enemies, so that's something. And eventually I'm gonna switch to a pistol and a shield, because I really need the extra defense from the shield. But the pistol does more DPS than the bow anyway, so I'm sticking with the pistol for now. There might be some intermittent phase where I'm running with a two-handed weapon. I could carry a rifle, a bow, or a crossbow, each of them being two-handed. But the pistol is the only one which allows me. Ouch! I have to really pay attention to that. The pistol is the only ranged weapon, the only dexterity-based ranged weapon, which allows me to also carry a shield. I could also carry a wand, but those are more magic-based, so not as useful to me. And as you just heard, chests can also be trapped, in which case I will get a notification, but it could be a little late, so times when I hear the notification, there's no time to run away anymore. Silly spiders. I also realize I haven't shown you my skill. The only one I currently have is the Ricochet? I don't know. This basically fires a shot. The most important property is it pierces enemies, and also bounces off walls, so it can like bounce about a little bit, hitting. But I think the angle is random, so it's difficult to predict. Much more important, however, is the ability to just pierce targets. So if my enemies are all in a row, I can hit them all with a single shot, and each of them take full damage. Okay, those require a higher level. Okay. When dual wielding, you alternate between which weapon you use, basically. Oh, this is nice. So you might see me do this quite often. I retreat, and then that makes enemies follow me in a straight line. So it tends to be that my ricochet skill hits more than one. Ouch. And here we have firstly the Gleaming Ember, which we needed for the quest, and a TNT barrel, obviously, that always blows up, but since it can also contain items and I'm a ranged character, I will try to always get these as well. Now, at this point, I'm just pushing my ricochet skill. I will only show the skills as they become available, so right now I also have the ranged weapon expertise, which reduces the requirement of ranged weapons and increases their damage. This is bows, pistol, crossbows and rifles, as you can see. I also have Needle Arc, which is a sort of low range, kind of AoE-ish attack, but since it's low range I'm steering away from it on this difficulty. and on Arbiter, or Arbiter, I think Arbiter, I get a lightning bomb, but also not really something I enjoyed, so I'm sticking with the ricochet skill because that's quite powerful. In terms of stat points, I'm going for now 3 dexterity, 2 defense. In later stages I'm probably gonna have to switch to more defense still. But for now, I think I'm switching to the bow, because I haven't got a decent shield yet. I'm identifying the staff just for fun. Okay. Now another cool feature of the game is I can give my pet items. So like this. My pet is now carrying these items, which is basically, it's kind of the justification for why the inventory is so small. I only have these 21 slots for general items, 21 slots for spells, and 21 slots for fish. We'll get more into that later. The pet has the same amount of inventory space as well. And for one of the coolest features, which I've also seen in some other games, but it's kind of like fairly unique to this game. Some others have done it as well, but I can send my pet to town, so it sells all the stuff it carries with it, so I don't have to disrupt my, I guess, dungeon grinding to go back to sell stuff. As long as it's regular things, my pet can sell them. Of course, if I want to buy stuff from a merchant, or if I want to store things in the shared stash, my pet can't do that. But it's still really useful, because very often you will end up having a lot of random loot, and because money is an issue at this difficulty where I need to buy potions a lot, I will probably end up picking up most items. So I will send my pet back to town quite often. And I just want to finish this first level in this episode. I'm not so certain. It's not going to stay one level per episode. For regular levels, I guess that might work out, but for certain levels which I have in mind, not gonna spoil too much, but there are certain levels which are definitely not gonna take an entire episode, basically, and others maybe will take longer depending on how often I die. In the later stage of the game, that's a strong possibility. Okay, and there's the stairs down, leading me to the second level. But before I take those, I want to finish exploring this level, as I said. Good. Rattlins are not too troublesome, even though they obviously at this in this difficulty they can hurt a little bit, but it's usually quite manageable. I will also have to try and remember not standing too close to the barrels as I blow them up. Okay. So I think that is this level done. Yep. Which means I can now use a town portal scroll to get back to town. These... I'm never quite sure if the game, if it's actually recording during the loading screens, because the game sort of freezes up. So I'm not quite certain. But yeah, these work exactly the same way as in all the other games of this genre, as just like they work in Diablo 2, for example. You just return to town, or in Diablo 1, I'm not certain how exactly they worked in Diablo 2. Anyway, you click it in a dungeon, it gives this portal to town, and if I now return to dungeon, the portal will be gone, so it's one use. Well, basic note, it disappears when I go back to the dungeon. I could use it as often as I like to get out of the dungeon, but of course I would now have to run back through the level to get to it again, so it's not really the purpose. And since I did not send my pet away, might as well sell it all manually. Aside from that though, not much I can do. I'm putting this is a socketing item. It gives different effect depending on if I put it in a weapon or in a trinket or in armor. This is the lowest grade, it's cracked, and I'm not going to use it for now just because at this stage I'm cycling through equipment very quickly. However, I did find the Gleaming Ember, so I can hand in the quest with Vestman.
Anything you need?
Okay. If you want to read these, I just give you the option to pause and read them. They're pretty generic, so
You have gained.
that's fine.
Day.
And now that he's got that ember, he wants Deathlace Ember.
Become a new
Slight
quest.
spoilers in that quest text, so if you don't want these, don't read it. And it's given us a new level up once again. 3 in dexterity, 2 in defense. And I can upgrade my ricochet again. And now let's see if the blacksmith has a decent shield I can use, which classifies as armor, but all he has is a really crappy one. 18% faster cast speed. I'm just buying that. Oh, it's a helmet. It looked a little like a belt. In these unsure times, who can know? So anyway, just doing this one episode for now. I do hope you enjoyed, and please let me know. Do you like the game? Do you want to see more? Would you prefer more Path of Exile or more of this? Just let me know, I guess, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.